I think it's an excellent idea to test your title blocks on various size sheets. If we move to an A4 sheet, here's our current title block, the one that we are developing on an A4 sheet. And it looks to me at first glance a little bit large. Notice that it's encroaching on our design a little. So if we do a revised version, we might want to try making it a little larger and maybe cramp things down on the right hand side there. Just reduce the height of the block. If we look at it on an A3 sheet, it looks not too bad, although again, if the title block was extended here and brought down a little, it would improve matters. On an A2 sheet, there's plenty of room on this sheet for the design and different parts of the design, elevation views and so on, fit comfortably. So it's important to consider the types of sheets that you're going to work on. My suggestion would be, looking at this, that we'll redesign the title block a little, and what we might well do is have two different template sheets, one for working A4 and A3 for maybe small designs, and another template sheet that might well have A4, A3, A2 and even A1. So we'll have a smaller set of layout sheets and a larger set of layout sheets to give us the versatility that I want, and then we'll put those and change and alter the path to the library. If you go to the library here, block library paths, we can set up plants my symbols, so we can put these files that we want to work with either in the my symbols area or in fact in the templates area. If we go file and new here, you can see if we can click on directory, we can actually change the directory that gCADPlus uses for its template sheets. Well, let's see if we can rearrange this title block a little. You may notice that on the right hand side I've moved some of the text and the logo graphic down a little, so we're gaining a little area at the top there, but I'm more concerned about this little area through here. What I'm going to do is to select that group, including that one, and I'll move from there down to, let me take ortho off, and we'll move to that point there, and we'll just see if we can rearrange things in the left hand side. I'll extend that line through, so modify and extend. This can be the boundary, and we'll bring that line through. Now we need to trim. This can be the cutting edge. Trim that line off and this line off here. And we need to find space for the email phone, the email stroke phone. So we'll move that piece of text somewhere just for the moment. We need to extend this line through, so modify, extend. This can be the boundary, and we'll extend, whoops, that's the boundary, and this is the line to extend through to it. So we now have a title block that looks to me as though it may work a little better on those sheets that we looked at earlier. We simply need to find space for the email and phone contact details of the client. I'd be inclined to look at this. That's a height of 2 millimeters on a drawing sheet. Let's change these two to 2 millimeters. Client name doesn't really need to be any bolder than the others, and we can pick and move these up closer to the top, move these two closer, like so. I should have ortho on while I do this, then they'll stay lined up nicely, and this one can be lined up there, and we now have plenty of room for the email and phone number, so we can move that up into position. That looks pretty good, and we'll move these down just a tad and maybe grab all of those and center them in the vertical sense. So I'm relatively happy with that. You might decide to take the project description, move that on the left and have client names through there. In fact, I'd prefer that. So let's move, for the moment, we'll move this group over there, and then we'll zoom in again and we'll take the group that we were just adjusting and we'll move those into this position, and finally our project and project description can be moved from there into there, and zoom a window around this group. So I'm relatively happy with that. We've got a nice title block showing. I'm inclined to bring that down a little. I'll offset that line, I think, by about 5 mil. So I'll just check in here from there down to about there. 4 mil might be safer. So we'll go modify, offset this one, right click, distance 4, okay, put it down like so, and then modify and trim again. This is the cutting edge, and trim off that one, and then select this one and erase it. Just zoom in there and see whether we've got our clearance correct, and we haven't quite got there, so we'll just move from there, just come inside the box, and I'm relatively happy with that. I think we could squeeze and move this one down a little and zoom previous will give us our view there. So there's a new title block, and we'll test it out and see what it looks like. You may wonder why the lines appear relatively thick. I have line weight on and so that it would show well. Everything's on a layer called title block, which I pushed well past the normal thickness. So there we are, there's our title block return. So I'm really relatively happy that I can make a title block of this as version 2 and try it out and test it out. Well, let's test the new title block. Let's have a look at its performance on an A4 sheet. You can see it runs from one side of the sheet to the other. There's still plenty of space there, and fills all the detail in nicely. On an A3 sheet, it works well as it does on an A2. So by making the title blocks slightly bigger at the right, then running across, we give ourselves a better opportunity to fit everything from the floating viewport that you see here. We can fit that into the design a little more easily than we did with the other shape title block.